I think the definition of digital maturity is changing. I think when we started with digital health systems and records, we were very careful to define the different levels in terms of technological ability. So, for instance, at the lowest levels, if you simply had a radiology information system or a picture archiving and communication system, a RIS-PACS, that was seen as the first building block. And then you had a scanned medical record, and then you had an electronic medical record, and then maybe you had a database or business intelligence. So it was really defined in terms of assets, I felt. And I really felt awkward talking to people about digital maturity in those days because it didn't really give them the answer they wanted. It didn't really tell them what they could do with the hardware that they had. I think a definition that has an emphasis on the ability to provide analytics or function in terms of the achievements or the leveraging that can happen with digital health is a far more useful definition. So, for instance, I would define an organizational digital maturity today in terms of what they can achieve. And I would ask the following questions. What do they know about the patient, and when do they know it? Do they just look at data historically through business intelligence so that they can see how many patients with community-acquired pneumonia they had last week? That sounds really good, but it doesn't really help the patient at the time they need the help. Can we deliver data at the bedside to provide real clinical decision support? Decision support might be seen as fabulous if, for instance, you had a patient with community-acquired pneumonia and the electronic medical record told you which antibiotic to use depending on the severity of the pneumonia. But wouldn't it be a lot better to have a system that was individualized to that patient, that told you at the bedside that not only did this patient have community-acquired pneumonia, but they were a diabetic, or they lived in a certain area, or they came from a certain sociological environment, or perhaps that they had a genetic predisposition for a comorbidity. So we're talking here about building an infrastructure from the ground up that has the ability to connect data points across an individual's medical history for their immediate bedside benefit.